This is why you should not force your clients into any sort of technique like a regression or inner child healing or anything like that. And this is what I mean is like when you have this like technique that you're using for your therapy, hypnotherapy, and you're like, trying to force your client into regression or trying to heal their 5-year-old self and inner child healing or whatever you're doing, it doesn't necessarily help them because the problem might not be within the regression or within the 5-year-old self, and you don't ever know what the problem is, and your client doesn't know where exactly it comes from, because we all know that if a client comes with a problem that is like surfacing, which is like, for example, anxiety or smoking or drinking, this is not the actual problem, it's the symptom to cover up that problem, that real problem. And the real problem is within their subconscious, and you don't know. So if you don't know what the problem is and where exactly it comes from, how can you know that your client needs a regression? And the cool thing with advanced conversational hypnosis is that sometimes the client would spontaneously regress into the past event of his life where the root is of his problem or the part of the root. So the thing is that we don't ever force the client to like, oh, look at the past, maybe that's where your answer is. The client will tell you themselves that, oh, I think in the past when I was like 12, I used to feel this and that and that and that. Or when we do the hypnotic interview and the client is slightly tranced out, their mind will take them there if the problem lies there, like the real problem. And recently I had a session with someone and they had a spontaneous regression into when they were a child, and then another kind of, would say, scene when they were a young adult. But the thing is that if my session was only based on the regression, he wouldn't have resolved his problem, because the couple of scenes that he spontaneously regressed to were only a very, 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 very tiny part of his solution. And all the other parts of his solution was around the perceptions, beliefs that he picked up from somewhere, etc., etc. So this is why sometimes the regression therapy or the inner child healing doesn't work, because if you're only relying on that part, then you're not addressing anything else. You're not addressing any other unconscious knots that your client has and that are not necessarily within these 3 or 4 scenes that you've regressed them to, or they are not necessarily in their 5-year-old child self. So if you're intrigued about advanced conversational hypnosis and you're a hypnotherapist, coach, or a therapist, drop me a message or find me on Insta and I can send you more information on what I'm going to be teaching, the dates, the prices, and the whole of the curriculum as well.